Talking about the Hall of Fame, and two Nigerians showed up. We thought we were going to see Genzebe Dibaba, Masayana, all of those, top stars that we expected to see. They didn't show up, but our own,
Van de Kerk and all that.
All those guys,
I don't know, some of them were at Kasta Samaya. We saw her training, on the tracks and all that. So some of them are already
focused on the event she came for
than coming here. But it's just a one night, it's just a dinner. I mean, an hour wouldn't even take much away from it. I think it's actually good that these athletes showed up. I mean, the Confederation have decided to actually honor you, honor them because of the performance over the years and all that. So you can't take that for granted. I mean, 16 and 14 showed up. It's not telling well on the athletes at all. Not the organizers, obviously. It's the athletes. I mean, Blessing Okagbare, she's here. She's competing in 2 events and all that. Despite the fact that she's carrying some injuries and all, I mean, she had to be here. I mean, she was just standing there as if she's the only one. Fashuba, he's not even coming, but he came, all the way and all that to honor this event. I felt the athletes who are around in their hotel should have been here, representing their country. David Odusha also, Ezekiel Kemball and all that. These athletes are top stars. These are world champions and Olympic champions, and that's the reason, they were honored. So if they refuse to turn up, I think is a dent on them. Well, let's hear from, starting with who? Now, who are we going to hear from first? Starting with what? Solomon Dalong, right? No, Blessing Okagbare, yes.
All right.
We know Africa is a great nation, it's a great continent in the world, and for us being showcased like this, we really appreciate it. And we know we're going to go back with whatever we've taken from here and say, yes, thank you, Africa, for remembering who we are.
When you get recognition like this, it means you have done something, or you've done something. And it means a lot to us as athletes. It means for every work you've done, you've served your nation. Whatever you have done for your nation, you're getting recognized. And as a continent, it means a lot for us athletes, for Africa to recognize us. So on behalf of other athletes, we want to say thank you for recognizing us. This means a lot to, even I believe those that are not here would want the same thing. So thank you for this great recognition, because honoring people that have served a nation or a continent is a great achievement. Not just about winning medals, but getting these recognitions is a great achievement for us.
Great achievement for all of them. Just being honored, knowing that you appreciate it and all that, it gives you that motivation to want to do more. And that's why we're talking about how, the motivation behind this, why CAA decided to kind of honor some of these athletes and all that. And the president, Kakaba, actually, explained most of the reason why they had to do this.
Yeah, a lot of good reasons. Maybe we should just go right ahead and listen to the president of the Confederation of African Athletics, talking about Ahmed Kakaba. What he has to say about the induction of these top athletes into the Hall of Fame, the reason behind it, and the motivation.
52 countries are here in Asaba. This is the highest number ever in our competition. Today, we are going to celebrate the achievements of some of our best athletes on the 10 last years, 2008, 2018. Africa achieved great performances. They won the World Championship, they won the Olympic Games medal, and also some of them broke a world record, the world record holders. We need to recognize that achievement because the achievement made Africa proud for some time. We don't forget them. But it will also inspire the future generation of athletes. And I'm counting on the support of the government of Nigeria. As a leading nation in Africa, Nigeria must support our sports.
Good one right there. Reasons and some commendation going the way of Nigeria. Always a big brother. Always, giving a shoulder to lean on. And it's only fitting that that Hall of Fame, everything started right here in Nigeria. Cecilia, other people, other eminent sports personalities, other big wigs in the sports sector were also there, and I had one or two things to say as well.
Absolutely, the sports minister was also there too, talking about the fact that these athletes being honored is not just enough, but also the athletes actually need to give their best and compete fairly, so that at the end of the day, maybe, just maybe, Nigeria can dethrone South Africa as champions of Africa.
For us in Nigeria, we will continue to provide the leadership required of us. to lead Africa. And indeed, we will continue to do that and will call on all African countries to invest positively in sports development so that we can create not only jobs, we can create opportunity and platform for our young people to realize their potentials.
Thank you.
Finally, let me appeal to our athletes that the platform created here is for the emergence of the next generation of African champions. As we go into the competition, let us compete as brothers and sisters, compete clean, free, and fair.
Compete free and fair. I love the fact that he's actually, the sports minister was there at the event and all that, and learning, just knowing what Okagbare said, talking about infrastructure and also Nigeria leading it. I think he should understand one or two things about that. If Nigeria is, described as a hub where we can actually, have more like a kind of a meeting point for most athletes, grooming world champions and all that, is obviously going to help on the long run. But situation whereby you don't have the infrastructure and all that, things are really not put in place properly, it's obviously going to be difficult for most of these athletes to be able to compete and compete fairly. We all know that.
Yeah, it's true. Government has a role to play.
Absolutely.
Those who say government should hands off, actually don't get a spot on. They have a role to play. Shouldn't interfere in the daily running. But when it comes to infrastructure, you see a lot of governors, a lot of people in high places scrambling to do things that even shouldn't be their problem in the first place. Because if those things were there, and I think that's what the sports ministry should be concerned about, that all of these things, all these infrastructures, we're getting it. Maybe you divide Nigeria into zones and say, okay, in this geopolitical zone, we're going to have a facility that we can do all of these things. And all of these things, we need to look at them. And I'm very sure the sports minister, Solomon Dalong, knows all of this. And he has the yes of the president, so he'll do that thing, and so that the people in the sports sector can really be happy. Also, a big wig was in attendance as well, talking about the president of the IAAF, talking about Sebastian Coe. He was there and graced the occasion with his presence, and had one or two things to say about what will go down starting from today, talking about the African Senior Athletics Championships, and he had a lot also on some other issues. So we'll listen to him, come back for more Sports this morning.
Was to try to attempt to bring as many events to Africa as possible. We have the first Diamond League in Africa, in Rabat. We had the spectacular World Cross Country Championships in Uganda. We had the Under-18 Championships in Nairobi. In 2020, we will have the Under-20 World Championships in Nairobi. And our challenge and our ambition and our aspiration is to bring the World Championships to Africa by 2025. But we could not survive as a sport without infrastructure. And to you, Governor, thank you for your commitment and your vision to leave behind a legacy after these championships that will serve young people in this area, in this region, in this country for many, many years to come.
All right, that's it. Talking about more competitions, more sport events, more big events getting on the global
the biggest
athletics.
one, the World Championships.
Yes, getting on the athletics calendar. Having top athletes from all over the world coming to Africa, and of course Nigeria, one of the likely destinations when all of those things happen. That's the president of the IAAF, talking about Sebastian Coe, having his say ahead of the African Senior Athletics Championship. That, by the way, begins today. Some events lined up for today. We also know Nigerians that will be involved in some of the events. But aside that, there's still also a lot of people still having their say, talking about their contributions to the African Senior Athletics Championship as well.
Yeah, and that's why, Sebastian Coe was really happy, when Okowa, talked about the fact that he wants to ensure that Sabah will just be the hub of athletics in Nigeria, and of course, the facilities built and all that. But it's not just all about that. It's about putting the right things in place and ensuring that the legacy is sustained. Let's listen to Ifeanyi Okowa talking about the governor of Delta State.
beginning to rekindle all the competitions that have been lost in the past. We're a sports-loving state. Nigeria knows that, and I thank God for the athletes that have done so well from Delta State, and two of our own were recognized today, and we thank God for that. We want to reassure you that in the next few years, we're definitely going to bring up a lot of athletes from Delta State that will hit the world stage. We will set the foundation now, and we believe that in the next years, even after my tenure in office, that foundation that we're going to lay now will be such that we will be able to produce athletes that will hit the world stage.
Yeah, leaving that legacy is really, really very important. Well, if at Delta State, we have more athletes coming from Delta State and they're winning championships for us, I mean, world champions, Olympic champions, well, we'll definitely be happy with that. I love the fact that they want to try as much as possible to use this as a springboard to actually groom more athletes for the country. And also knowing that infrastructure is key and how, and all the things surrounding, not just all about infrastructure, but organizations and all that, they should be able to get it right and ensure that what the World Championships they're talking about, if it's going to come to Africa, it might just come to Nigeria. But we know we have to put a whole lot of things in place to be able to get the right to host that, because you have countries like Dublin, cities like Dublin, I mean, Marrakech and all that. Marrakech, for instance, you know, Diamond League, you know, so when you have cities like that already in the world map, they will be the one, you know, actually, you know, more like favorites to get the World Championship.
Getting the
attention and all that. So Nigeria needs to actually put his house in order.
Step up.
And we're thinking that this Senior Athletics Championship would just be that, you know, that kind of a
launching pad.
More like
you use it to showcase what we're capable of.
Yeah, from all indication, we've not really been doing that. We'll try as much as possible to reach, well, the organizing committee of the championship and see, maybe they have to tell us one or two things concerning what's going on social media and all that, athletes being stranded at the airports, not being able to have a connecting flight to Sabah and all that, and some of them saying their flights were delayed 3 days before they came into Lagos, itinerary weren't sent on time and all that. So many excuses. But the good thing is the Kenyan athletes, about 200 of them that are still in Lagos, I mean, this morning they should be on their way to Asaba right now, because they said they're supposed to be lifted this morning straight to Asaba. So if that happens, obviously the Kenyan athletes that were threatening last night on Twitter and everywhere that they want to pull out, they may just be able to compete. We know Kenyan, they won, I mean, when you're talking about athletics in Africa, I mean, the Kenyans are the one, just
globally.
number one.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. So
when it comes to the races that they
marathon, the long distance races and all that.
Most of those long distance races. And we'll see what happens in that one as we go on. Let's see if we can make that call now, and we'll see if we are able to do that.